Most people over 60 are told the same thing about morning stiffness. Just give it time, and it will loosen up on its own. It sounds sensible. It sounds harmless. But here is what nobody tells you. Waiting for stiffness to fade on its own does not protect the one thing you cannot afford to lose, which is your ability to move freely through your own home. That stiff, rusted feeling in the first hour of the day is not something to simply wait out. It is a signal. And the way you answer that signal in the first 10 minutes after you wake shapes how the rest of your day moves. Here is something physical therapists see every single morning. The stiffness you feel at 7 in the morning is not the same as the pain of a worn joint. It is largely fluid. Overnight, the thick, slippery fluid inside your joints settles and thickens, almost like honey left in a cold cupboard. Movement is what warms it and thins it again. Sit still and wait. And you teach your body that stiffness is normal. Move with intention, and you can change how the whole day feels. So here is my promise to you. I am going to walk you through 5 gentle morning stretches, counting down from 5 to the single most important one. And I am going to share the one insight about morning movement that a rushed appointment almost never has time to explain. The number 1 stretch on this list is something almost nobody talks about, and it has nothing to do with your legs. Stay with me until the end, because that one movement can change how you carry yourself for the next 10 years. Now, why does no one explain this to you properly? Think about a normal doctor visit. You get 12 minutes, maybe 15. In that time, your doctor has to check your blood pressure, review your medications, and answer the one thing you came in for. There is simply no time left to teach you how to move when you first wake up. Prevention takes teaching, and teaching takes time that the system does not give. So you are handed a phrase like, keep moving and sent on your way, without anyone showing you what that actually means at 6 in the morning with stiff hands and a cold back. I want to be clear about something. I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. This channel exists to give you the science a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. No fear, no hype, just what actually works and why. That is the whole reason this channel exists, and it is the reason you are still watching. And the stakes here are real, but they are not about fear. They are about freedom. Stiff joints in the morning are the first small step toward not trusting your own body. First, you hesitate before getting out of bed. Then you avoid the stairs. Then you stop reaching for the top shelf. Each small surrender chips away at your independence quietly until one day someone else is doing it for you. This is about keeping your own life in your own hands. So let me ask you something. How stiff are your first 10 steps each morning on a scale of 1 to 10? Put your number in the comments, along with your age and where you are watching from. I read them, and they shape what I cover next. Now let me explain the one mechanism behind all of this, because if you understand this, everything else makes sense. Inside every joint is a fluid called synovial fluid. Think of it as the oil in a very old, very well-built engine. When the engine sits cold overnight, that oil thickens and pools at the bottom. Turn the key and drive off hard, and you strain the whole machine. But let it idle and warm gently first, and the oil thins, spreads, and coats every moving part. Your joints work exactly the same way. Gentle morning movement is not exercise in the usual sense. It is you warming the oil before you drive. It circulates that fluid, delivers it to the cartilage, and prepares the hinge before you ask it to carry your full weight. Please do not skip this section. It is the key to everything that follows. Every single stretch I am about to show you does one job. It moves fluid into a joint before that joint has to work. That is the entire secret. If this is already making sense to you, tap the like button now. Every like helps this reach one more senior who is waiting out their stiffness alone. Let us begin the countdown at number 5, the seated ankle pump and circle. Your ankles are the foundation of everything you do standing up, and they are the first joints to stiffen overnight. When your ankles cannot flex fully, your balance quietly shrinks, and your risk of a stumble climbs. Picture the ankle as the swivel base of a tall lamp. If the base is stiff and grinding, the whole lamp wobbles when you move it. A supple ankle base keeps the entire body above it steady. Balance and mobility research consistently shows that ankle flexibility is one of the strongest predictors of steady walking in older adults. This is not a small, overlooked joint. It is the hinge your entire standing life depends on. Here is exactly how to do it. Sit on the edge of your bed or in a firm chair, feet flat and hips back. Lift one foot slightly off the floor. Slowly pull your toes up toward your shin, then point them away, like pressing and releasing a gas pedal. Do 10 of these slow pumps. Then draw 10 slow circles with that foot, 5 in each direction, as if tracing a dinner plate with your big toe. Switch feet and repeat. The whole thing takes about 2 minutes, and the single most common mistake is rushing it. Slow is where the fluid moves. If sitting on the bed feels unsteady, do this in a dining chair with armrests, hands resting lightly on the arms for security. Keep your back supported and your hips well back in the seat. If you feel a sharp pinch in the ankle joint at any point, stop. Do not push through it. A gentle stretch is fine. Sharp is your signal to ease off. Pair this with a few slow, deep breaths through the nose, because relaxed breathing lowers the muscle tension around the joint and lets the ankle move through a fuller range. Loose muscles let a stiff hinge open further, but here is what the ankle pump cannot do. It wakes the foundation, but it does nothing for the large muscles that actually lift you out of a chair. And that is exactly what number 4 addresses. Number 4 is the seated hamstring and calf lengthener. The backs of your legs shorten overnight more than almost any other area, and tight hamstrings pull on your lower back and change how you stand. Think of your hamstring as a rope running from your knee to your hip. When that rope shrinks and hardens overnight, it tugs your pelvis out of position, and your back pays the price all day. Lengthen the rope gently, and your whole posture rises. Large studies on flexibility in older adults have repeatedly linked regular gentle stretching of the back of the leg to easier walking and less lower back discomfort. This is one of the best documented benefits in the whole field. Here is the protocol. Sit tall on the front edge of a firm chair. Straighten one leg out in front of you, heel on the floor, toes pointed up toward the ceiling. Sit up tall and hinge forward very slightly from the hips, not the waist, until you feel a gentle pull along the back of that thigh. Hold it for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing the whole time. Never bounce. Do this twice on each leg. The error almost everyone makes is rounding the back and reaching for the toes. Keep the chest tall and let the stretch stay in the leg, not the spine. If reaching forward feels like too much, simply straightening the leg and pulling the toes up is enough to start. If you feel any tingling or sharp pain down the leg, stop immediately. That is a nerve signal, not a stretch, and it means ease back. Pair this with the ankle circles you just learned, because a loose ankle lets the calf lengthen more fully, and the two together open the entire back line of the leg. One prepares the base, the other prepares the rope. But even a long, loose leg cannot help you if your hips stay locked shut. And the hips are where number 3 goes to work. Number 3 is the seated hip opener, often called the seated figure 4. Your hips are the single biggest joint complex in your body, and when they stiffen overnight, everything from putting on socks to getting out of a car becomes a small battle. Picture your hip as the large hinge on a heavy garden gate. When that hinge rusts, you have to force the whole gate, straining everything around it. Free the hinge, and the gate swings open with a light touch. Clinical rehabilitation guidance consistently identifies hip mobility as central to keeping seniors independent in daily tasks. When the hips move well, the whole lower body follows. Here is how you do it safely. Sit tall in a firm chair with both feet flat. Lift your right ankle and rest it gently across your left thigh, just above the knee, so your right knee opens out to the side. If your hip allows, sit tall and lean forward from the hips just slightly until you feel a gentle stretch deep in the right hip and buttock. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing slowly. Lower it and repeat on the other side. Do this once or twice per side. The common mistake is forcing the lifted knee downward with the hand. Never push the knee. Let gravity and time do the opening. If crossing the ankle over the thigh is uncomfortable, keep both feet on the floor and simply let one knee fall gently outward while you sit tall. That gentler version still opens the hip. If you feel any pain in the knee itself, rather than a stretch in the hip, stop and use the easier version instead. Pair this with slow breathing and soft shoulders, because the hips release far more when the upper body is not braced and tense. A relaxed body opens a stiff hip faster than force ever will. Now, remember that number one stretch I promised, the one that has nothing to do with your legs? Everything we have opened so far, the ankles, the legs, the hips, all of it, prepares your body to finally address the area that quietly ages faster than any of them. Hold that thought. But before we get there is a joint working against you every time you turn to check your blind spot or reach behind you. And that is where number 2 comes in. Number 2 is the gentle standing or seated shoulder roll and reach. Your shoulders round forward as you sleep and as you age, and stiff shoulders quietly steal your ability to reach, to dress, and to carry. Think of your shoulder as a rope and pulley system. When the ropes tighten and fray, the pulley jams, and lifting even a light bag feels like a chore. Keep the pulley oiled and your arms stay useful and free. Physical therapy research consistently shows that maintaining shoulder range of motion is one of the clearest markers of continued independence in dressing and self-care. The shoulder is your reach, and reach is freedom. Here is the protocol. Sit or stand tall. Slowly roll both shoulders up toward your ears, then back, then down in a smooth circle, like slow oars turning in water. Do 10 backward rolls, then raise both arms out in front, only as high as comfortable, no higher than shoulder height to start, and lower them slowly. Do this 10 times. Move slowly enough that each repetition takes a full breath. The mistake people make is shrugging fast and tight. Slow and wide is where the joint frees. If raising both arms is uncomfortable, do one arm at a time and keep the movement small at first. Never lift into sharp pain. A gentle stretch and a little effort are fine, but a stabbing catch in the shoulder means stop and lower the arm. Pair this with the tall, upright posture from your hip work, because a straight spine gives the shoulder room to move that a slumped posture takes away. Sit tall, and the shoulder opens further on its own. Everything so far has prepared the outer frame of your body, but the stretch that holds it all together, the crown of this entire list, works on the one structure every other joint depends on. That is number 1, and it is coming next. Number 1, the crown of this entire list is the seated spinal rotation, the gentle morning twist. This is the movement almost nobody talks about, and it has nothing to do with your legs because it works on your spine. Your spine is the central column that every limb hangs from, and it stiffens overnight in a way that quietly restricts your entire body. Think of your spine as the segmented mast of a tall ship, made of many small rings stacked with soft cushions between them. Overnight, those cushions lose a little fluid, and the rings grow stiff against one another. When the mast cannot rotate, every sail attached to it, your shoulders, your hips, your neck, loses its full range too. A spine that turns freely is the difference between reaching, checking your blind spot, and moving through the world with ease, and a body that has to turn its whole self just to look behind it. Movement and aging research has consistently shown that spinal rotation is one of the first ranges of motion lost with age. It is also one of the most recoverable with gentle daily practice. This is not a luxury stretch. It is the master key. Here is the full protocol, and I want you to go slowly. Sit tall on a firm chair, feet flat on the floor, and hip width apart, hands resting on your thighs. Sit up as tall as you can, imagining a string lifting the crown of your head toward the ceiling. Now, keeping your hips square and facing forward, slowly rotate your upper body to the right, letting your head follow, as if slowly turning to look at someone behind your right shoulder. You may rest your left hand gently on your right thigh, but do not pull yourself into the twist. Go only as far as comfortable and hold there for 2 to 3 slow breaths, feeling the gentle stretch through the middle of your back. Then slowly unwind back to center. Repeat to the left. Do 3 slow rotations to each side. The single most common error is twisting from the neck and shoulders while the middle back stays locked. The turn must come from the spine itself, slow and even, never forced or fast. Now the safety, because this is the most important joint on the list. Keep both hips firmly planted, never lifting off the chair. Never use your arms to crank yourself further around. The hands are a light guide only. Move at the speed of a slow breath, never a jerk. And if you feel any sharp pain, dizziness, or a shooting sensation, stop at once and come back to center. A gentle turning stretch through the mid-back is exactly right. Anything sharp, anything in the neck, anything that makes you dizzy is your signal to stop, not push. If you have a diagnosed spinal condition or osteoporosis, keep the movement very small and gentle, and check with your doctor before making it part of your routine. Pair this crown movement with the slow nasal breathing you have used throughout, because the breath itself gently mobilizes the spine, and each exhale lets you settle a fraction deeper into the rotation without any force at all. Breath and spine were designed to move together, and when you let them, the whole column frees. And here is the payoff I promised you at the very beginning. The reason this one matters more than any other is simple. Every other stretch on this list frees a single joint. This one frees the column that all of those joints hang from. Free the spine, and the shoulders reach further, the hips open wider, and the walk grows taller, all at once. This is the one movement that multiplies every other. Wake the spine, and you wake the whole body. That is why it wears the crown. Consider a typical case documented in the rehabilitation literature. A 74-year-old woman had begun avoiding her morning walks. It was not pain that stopped her. It was the stiffness of the first 30 minutes, the sense that her body simply would not cooperate until mid-morning. She had started skipping the stairs and asking her husband to reach the high cupboards. Her world was quietly shrinking, one small avoidance at a time. She was given a gentle 5-minute routine to do at the edge of her bed each morning, before her feet even carried her weight far. Ankle pumps and circles came first to wake the foundation. Then the seated leg lengthener for the back of the legs. Then the hip opener to free the largest joint. Then the shoulder rolls to restore her reach. And finally, the slow spinal twist to wake the whole column. 5 minutes every morning, done slowly and without force. Within 3 weeks, the change was measurable. Her reported morning stiffness dropped noticeably, and she returned to her daily walk. Within 6 weeks, she was taking the stairs again and reaching her own cupboards. Nothing dramatic happened. She simply warmed the oil before she drove every single day, and her body gave the freedom back. So let me give you your action plan. Simple and clear, 5 steps, and each one has a number. Step 1, tonight, before bed, place one firm chair beside your bed so it is waiting for you in the morning. Step 2, tomorrow morning, do all 5 stretches in order, 1 minute on each for 5 minutes in total. Step 3, this week, repeat that full 5-minute routine every morning for 7 straight days, no exceptions. Step 4, starting next week, add 2 slow spinal twists to each side whenever you feel stiff during the day, not only in the morning. Step 5, once the routine feels easy, hold each of the 5 stretches for 1 extra breath, adding about 30 seconds to your morning. Do not rush to add more than that. 5 minutes done every day beats 15 minutes done twice a week. And every single morning, remember the one rule that protects you above all else. Move at the speed of a slow breath. Never push into sharp pain. Ease off the moment anything turns sharp. That single rule keeps this safe for the next 10 years. Balance is not luck. Mobility is not genetics. Independence is trained. Think of someone in your life who groans getting out of a chair, a partner, a friend, a parent, and send them this video. 5 minutes a morning could give them years of easy movement, and it costs them nothing to try. Tell me in the comments which of these 5 you are starting tomorrow morning. Just type the number 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. Your answers decide exactly what I cover next. And if this channel is giving you the science your appointments never have time for, subscribe. so we can keep more seniors moving freely in their own homes. This video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own doctor knows your history, so bring this list to your next appointment. I'm Laura Bennett. Don't forget to subscribe and live longer.